Okay, let's look at the Eiken Jr. test next. So there are 3 levels of the Eiken Jr. And then as of February next year, there will be 13 levels of the other Eiken. And I think they're both under the same like umbrella certification, but technically Aiken Jr. and Aiken might be considered different things. I generally look at them as just steps from one to the other, though, but I guess we'll need to look into that. Anyway, the certification here is the bronze certification. So you get this cool seal over here, and this is just to hide the name. So the seal here, and it tells you what level when you accomplished it, and unlike usual, you actually have a percentage that you get over here. So one thing about the Aiken Jr., which depending on how you look at it might be good or bad, is that they don't have like an actual passing percentage, unlike most other tests that are like 70 or 80, sometimes 90 or whatever, right? But they do recommend that people get at least 80% before moving on to the next level. So I'm taking that as basically 80% to pass. So for the bronze, got 93 here, not too bad. Then they have this CSE score, which is like some overall. I don't know if it's standard outside of Japan as well, but they use it to, I guess, determine your level of overall English um, for the course of like many years, and then you can get that number higher. Anyway, let's take a look at the Aiken Junior Bronze book here. So, see, they also advertise the silver and gold books here. Comes with a CD, and I didn't actually have a CD player offhand, but the good thing is you can download an app. Has the information over here. Oh, can you see it? Yeah, over here. And you can listen to the contents of the CD for free on that app, but you have to do them with the book, basically. So let's take a look at what we've got here. So they just tell you to go through, and then the CD will read out these words for you, and you can see. Let's just look at the second page here. So you have an apple here at the top, right? And over here, it will tell you it's an apple. And down here, it will say what it is in Japanese. So some of these pages in the study book, you can just read through like this. For the actual test, there's actually at least 2 ways to take it. One is to go online, sign up for the online course, and you take it online from your own home, but you only get one chance, and you can't like return back to questions after you've already completed them. The other is to go to um, an actual certified location and take the test at a specified date. I think we've only done the ones for the English from home so far. The computer setup is not so bad. You just select from the list of whatever they give you. Some of the selections are actually kind of a little bit wonky, to be honest. Like this might not be the best example, but let's say that the question here was select the number corresponding with the banana or whatever, right? And then if you press the banana, it might not, or if you click on the banana, it might not press it. You have to press the number sometimes or whatever. I mean, it's not terrible, but sometimes it's set up where you have to learn where to press while you're doing the test, or at least practice tests. And for the tests or practice tests, they have different things you can sign up for. So you can sign up for a thing where you get a bunch of like mini games and practice tests that you can do well you're studying for this. And so, besides this book itself, we also signed up for the mini games, and there's a whole bunch of different mini games, but I'd say the best mini game, and I don't know if I have any video of it, probably not offhand, but the best mini game in it is they'd have like a certain theme, and then they'd have like three kids looking, and something will fly by the screen. Let's just say it's a strawberry, and then you'll have a strawberry fly by the screen, and one kid will say, "Oh, that was a melon," and another kid will say, "That was a peach." Another kid will say, "That was a strawberry," and you gotta select who got it right, which I think is pretty cool. Very simple mini game. Some of the other ones were not as intuitive or as well done. There was one, for example, where it's like a whack-a-mole type of game, and you have to whack all the incorrect answers. The correct answer was strawberry. They say strawberry, and then strawberry pops up. If you select strawberry, you're wrong. And it's like 6 different things that pop up. All right, let's take a look. What else have we got here? So again, more food and things that you'd see often, eggs, rice, ham, cookies, hot dogs, just regular daily words that you might use. And you have these, this, I think you need the CD to know what's going on, but these types of questions where, you'll have the situation that comes up, and you select which is correct based on what they say. So maybe the mom will say, "What's on the counter?" And then the kid will say, it's a potato. It's a I guess this is a pumpkin. It's a pumpkin. And you have to, select the correct one there. Over here we'd have something like, "Oh, what do you want to drink?" And he'd say, "Oh, I want to drink orange juice. I want to drink milk. I want to drink cola." And based on what this looks most like, you would select orange juice probably. Animals. Then we have things around the house. Then we have, daily wear. We have instruments and numbers, 1 through 12 here. I think you might have 1 through 20 in the end, or maybe it was even 50. The basic times of the day. You have some actions like running and walking, take off a cap, put on a cap. So yeah, hat, they'll always call this cap in these tests for some reason. No, hat, I think, is what most people might normally say. Let me know, actually, if you would call it a cap or a hat in regular situations. And then we also have things like which big or small, long or short, fast or slow, so sort of opposites. We have like 6 different animals. And then one of the animals would say, like, they'll say 3 things about themselves, and you'll have to determine who the animal is in each of these questions, trying to listen for those particular questions is very useful, I think, for beginning to learn English. We have body parts, colors, and some basic shapes. We have things you'll find in the town, and vehicles of all kinds. We have more questions. These again, is it nighttime? Is it daytime? Are there stars out, or is the moon out? You'll have some piece of information that gives you a hint as to what the answer will be, each of these. We have jobs, nature and weather. We have other actions that we get into, plenty of actions. I won't go through everything here. We'll have a story or a question like, "Oh, it's 7 a.m. and which one is 7?" So as long as you remember your number, and I guess you have some idea that he's talking about time, then it would be okay. So the question, like what he's doing, I'm washing my dog, right? So which one is it washing? So on the bronze level, I think the major objective is to pick up on keywords that help you figure out what is going on. Here we have a few more, you know. Is it 5 o'clock? No, it's 4 o'clock. You see this, these people talking about over here. Yeah, here's one of those things I was talking about earlier at the bottom here. Are those your caps? Like, no, they aren't, and they're just. I don't think you'd call them caps when they're lined up like that. And thinking that a whole bunch of caps on a bench are all one person's. That's kind of weird, but you know, we don't worry too much about how natural these conversations are at this point. Are you hungry? Yes, I am. Basically, what order these go in, or what is happening in each one. We learn about basic, who are people and families, what things are at a school, writing tools at school and sports. And then some more questions about, so here you'd have something like this person would mention two answers, like, oh, what are you using right now? And she'd say, like, using tape and paint, or at least in the bronze, they don't really have you guess like what they're doing so much as they say the word outright for you. So we have some more pretty basic conversations trying to figure out what everything means, what the actual situation being described is, and again, it's mostly just picked up with very specific keywords here. So that's just a kind of brief description of the Eiken Jr. bronze. Even though I'm pretty good at speaking English, just messed up there. Even though I'm pretty good at speaking English, my son had never learned any English until very recently. He, like, when he was just learning to speak or whatever, I would ask him, "Do you want to learn English?" And he'd always be like, "No." Right? So, but then as we got closer to school, I thought, okay, eventually he's gonna have to use this information, and we found these tests, and I thought, okay, maybe it's a good time just to start picking up on it. Obviously, going to a Japanese school, things like Japanese and mathematics will take priority, especially in earlier years, over English. But English is a subject that almost all kids take in Japanese school, and supposedly can be really useful for business. I have had very few experiences personally where I found that being able to speak English gave me some sort of major financial advantage, let's say. It has given me extra work from time to time. But so it looks like they actually have some sample questions on their site. Let's take a look.